Welcome to another deep dive. Today we're heading south of the border, down to Baja California Sur.
Sounds good.
Now most people think of, beaches and resorts, but we're going deeper than that today, peeling back the layers of history, culture, and the environment of the peninsula.
Looking forward to it.
We got some great articles for this one, so get ready to journey through time, from ancient cave paintings to Spanish missions and everything in between. Really looking forward to this one.
Yeah, Baja's got a fascinating history. Most people don't realize how much there is.
Right. It's not just about those beautiful beaches.
Exactly.
We're talking about a human presence stretching back thousands of years, long before Europeans arrived.
Right.
So let's start by rewinding the clock a bit and explore those ancient echoes of the indigenous cultures. You know, the ones who thrived in this environment.
Yeah, the Paracues, the Guaycuras, the Cochime, to think they didn't just survive, but they flourished in this landscape.
Yeah, and it was a challenging landscape. Not exactly the easiest place to live.
It's true. A testament to their resourcefulness, how they adapted to the desert and the sea.
Speaking of adapting, this is where it gets really interesting. Have you heard of the Great Mural Rock Art Site?
Of course. Who hasn't?
Well, I mean, these paintings are incredible. Some figures over 13 feet tall.
It's hard to wrap your head around it.
And get this, they date back to 1700 BCE.
Wow.
That's older than the Roman Empire.
It's mind-boggling.
Can you imagine the stories these paintings could tell?
Yeah, it's not just the scale that's impressive. It's what they depict. Glimpses into their beliefs, rituals, daily life, animals, hunting scenes, shamanistic figures.
Really like a window into their world. A world we can only imagine.
Exactly.
And it wasn't just the Great Mural Site. There's also Cueva de Palma and San Gregorio.
Right, each with its own unique style.
Right.
And its own stories.
It makes you wonder about the artists.
I know.
What materials did they use?
Well, they were masters of their environment. They'd use natural pigments, Roundup minerals, charcoal plants.
Plants too.
Oh yeah, they got a whole range of colors from them. Then they'd mix those pigments with animal fats or plant resins.
To bind them together.
Exactly. Creating these durable works of art. I mean, they've survived for millennia.
It's incredible. It really makes you think about the connection these cultures had with nature. Living surrounded by these paintings, full of meaning. That must have been something else.
You know, there's a theory that the paintings weren't just decorative.
Oh.
Yeah, some researchers think they were practical too, like marking important locations, water sources, or hunting grounds, almost like a visual language.
Like their own maps and guidebooks. Wow.
Exactly. Passed down through generations.
It highlights their ingenuity, their adaptability, thriving in a place many would find inhospitable.
It really does.
So we've got these vibrant cultures living in harmony with this challenging environment for centuries.
Yeah.
And then, boom, the Spanish arrive.
Yeah. Talk about a turning point.
Right. I know this is often a sensitive topic, but it's a crucial part of Baja's history.
Absolutely. The arrival of the Spanish in 1533. It really marked a dramatic shift for Baja California Sur.
And it wasn't exactly a peaceful encounter.
Well, there were clashes over resources, there were attempts to exploit the pearl fisheries, and a lack of understanding of the indigenous ways of life.
Yeah. I mean, the arrival of the Spanish was devastating for the indigenous population. How do we reconcile that with the beauty of the missions, which are often seen as symbols of Baja?
I see what you mean. The legacy of the missions is complex. Yes, they contributed to the suppression of native languages and traditions and forced assimilation, but they also played a role in shaping the region, architecturally and culturally.
Right. It's hard to deny their beauty. The Loreto mission, the La Paz Cathedral, San Jose del Cabo mission.
Yeah, just imagine walking through them. Those structures, they really are a testament to a bygone era.
A blend of European styles adapted to Baja.
Exactly.
It's important to see the missions from both perspectives, acknowledging their significance while understanding their impact.
It's a reminder that history is rarely black and white.
Well said. So the Spanish arrive, establish missions, things start to change. But Baja didn't become a state until much later, right?
Right. The mainland was going through a lot in the 19th century. Upheaval wars for independence.
Yeah.
Baja California Sur remained a territory. It wasn't until 1888 that it officially became El Territorio Sur de Baja California.
El Territorio Sur de Baja California.
And even then, they were under federal control.
So what led to Baja finally becoming a state in 1974?
Well, a combination of factors, a growing sense of regional identity, more control over local resources, and development.
And of course, the economy played a role too.
Of course. The tourism industry was starting to boom. They needed a more independent voice.
So 1974,
Huh.
a new chapter begins, the birth of the 31st state of Mexico. A pivotal moment built on centuries of history.
Indigenous and colonial.
Exactly. And it's that blend that makes Baja California Sur so fascinating.
I agree.
Okay, let's zoom in a bit. One of our articles focuses on a town called Mulegé.
Oh, yeah, Mulegé. A bit off the beaten path, but magical.
And it's part of the largest municipality in Baja California Sur, taking up almost half the state.
That's right.
And it sits on the shores of the Bay of Conception, where the desert meets the sea.
Dramatic doesn't even begin to describe it.
And those millions of years of tectonic activity we talked about, that's what shaped this landscape.
It's amazing to think about. Those massive plates shifting, colliding over millions of years, creating the cliffs, the coves, the beaches.
Wow.
A geologist's dream.
And then you've got that arid climate meeting the waters of the Gulf of California. Such a unique ecosystem.
You're right. The plants and animals have adapted to both the desert and the marine environments. You see cacti on the cliffs, while below there's a whole other world of marine life.
A delicate balance. But as much as we know about Baja, there's still so much we don't know about the Bay of Conception.
There really is.
And that's kind of exciting, isn't it? There's still so much to discover.
What lies beneath the surface? Literally and figuratively. Imagine finding cave paintings near the bay, left by those indigenous groups.
Oh, wow. What secrets would those paintings reveal? What was life like around the bay centuries ago?
Did they use the bay for transport, or was it a source of food?
It's a historical treasure hunt.
And what about the Spanish explorers? Did they chart the bay, use it for navigation?
So many unanswered questions. It's like Baja is whispering, come explore my secrets.
And that's just the Bay of Conception. Imagine what else is out there.
So we've covered a lot in this first part of our deep dive. Ancient history, Spanish colonization, the Bay of Conception.
And there's more to come.
Yeah, our journey isn't over yet. Stick around as we peel back more layers of this incredible region.
So many unanswered questions. It's amazing, even in a place like Baja.
It's true. It feels like we've only just scratched the surface.
Yeah.
When we talked about the Spanish arrival and the impact on the indigenous people. But what happened to those ancient cultures after that initial contact? Did they just disappear?
Well, it's a complex story, and sadly, the arrival of the Spanish was devastating.
Right.
Disease forced labor disruption of their traditions. It took a heavy toll. But these cultures were resilient.
So they didn't vanish completely?
No. They adapted, they resisted. Their legacy continues to this day.
One of our sources mentions the Cochimi, the Guaycura, and the Paracu.
Right.
Did each of these groups have distinct customs, territories within Baja?
Absolutely. Each one had its own unique language, traditions, and ways of interacting with the environment.
Fascinating.
The Cochimi, for instance, they inhabited the central part of the peninsula, known for their cave paintings and rock art,
Right.
and their knowledge of the desert. Imagine surviving in that landscape. Knowing which plants were edible, where to find water, it's incredible.
It's a level of connection most of us can only dream of.
Right. And then you have the Guaycura further south, and the Paracu at the southernmost tip, around what is now Cabo San Lucas. Each group had its own niche, adapting to the specific challenges of their territory.
This makes me wonder about the economy back then. I mean, today it's tourism. But what sustained these communities before the resorts and cruise ships?
Well, historically, it was much more diversified. Fishing, of course, was major. The waters off Baja are teeming with life.
Yeah.
Tuna sardines, anchovies, clam snails, even sharks and lobsters.
Wow. Talk about a seafood lover's paradise. I bet those meals were amazing.
Oh, absolutely. But it wasn't just fishing.
Right.
There was mining, copper, gold, silver, even salt production,
Yeah.
and agriculture. Despite the arid climate, they grew things like garbanzo beans, sorghum tomatoes.
So resourceful, finding ways to thrive in those conditions.
Mhm.
But clearly the rise of tourism has had a major impact, for better or worse.
Oh, definitely. It's brought jobs, economic growth, but also concerns about sustainability and preserving their heritage. It's a balancing act, trying to reap the benefits while protecting what makes Baja special.
It's a dilemma for a lot of places blessed with natural beauty. And Baja California Sur is definitely blessed with natural beauty. The mountains, the deserts, the coastline. It's a landscape of contrasts.
You've got the Sierra de la Giganta Mountains dominating the interior, rising over 6,500 feet. Then the Vizcaíno Desert, one of the largest and driest in North America, and of course the Gulf of California, separating Baja from the mainland, with those incredible islands.
El Espíritu Santo y la Partida.
Yes, teeming with unique life.
The Gulf of California, sometimes called the aquarium of the world. What makes it so biologically diverse?
A few things. You've got the mixing of currents, nutrient-rich upwellings, and a variety of habitats, from rocky reefs to kelp forests to mangrove estuaries and sandy beaches. It attracts everything, from tiny creatures to giant whales.
It's like a dream, kayaking in those waters, surrounded by the cliffs and the desert, the sun setting, maybe a whale breaching in the distance. A truly magical experience.
It is magical. It's that sense of wonder that draws people to Baja. But the beauty isn't just on the surface. It's those hidden layers, those stories of resilience and adaptation. That's what makes it special.
And thankfully, there are people working to protect those layers. One of our sources mentioned that Baja has a remarkable percentage of its territory designated as parks, reserves, sanctuaries.
Yeah, it's impressive.
What prompted that commitment to conservation?
Well, it was a combination of things. Growing awareness of the need to protect the ecosystems.
Right.
And pressure from international organizations and scientists who recognize its ecological importance.
It's great to see a region taking those steps to protect its natural heritage. It's about preserving the past, but also ensuring a future for people and nature.
Exactly. We're all interconnected. The choices we make today, they have consequences for generations to come. Speaking of choices, are you ready for a culinary adventure?
Now you're talking my language. We talked about the seafood earlier, but let's dive into the culinary traditions. What are some must-try dishes, the essence of Baja cuisine?
If you love seafood, you're in for a treat. Baja's famous for its fish tacos, grilled fish, warm corn tortillas, tangy salsas, creamy slaw. A symphony of flavors.
Okay, I'm sold. Fish tacos are on the list. What about other traditions? Anything unique to Baja?
Well, there's machaca. It's dried shredded beef, rehydrated and cooked with onions, tomatoes, peppers, served in burritos or tacos. Delicious.
That sounds good. I like how these dishes highlight fresh, local ingredients, a connection to the land and the sea.
And speaking of local, we can't forget the drinks. Tequila and mezcal, of course. But Baja also has its own liquor, Damiana.
Damiana, I've never heard of that.
It's a liqueur made from the Damiana herb, native to the region, slightly sweet herbal, often used in cocktails. Some say it has aphrodisiac qualities.
Oh, really?
But true or not, it's a unique taste of Baja. And don't forget the fruits, dates, papayas. They're incredibly sweet in this climate.
Wow. Fresh seafood, unique dishes. A local liqueur with a mysterious reputation. We might need a whole episode just for Baja cuisine.
You might be right. But for now, let's savor these culinary delights and continue exploring Baja California Sur. We've done ancient history, natural wonders. Now let's unpack that vibrant culture, the music, the art, the spirit of the people who call Baja home.
We're back for the final part of our Baja California Sur deep dive. It's amazing how much we've covered. Ancient cave paintings, Spanish missions, the unique ecosystem of the bay. And of course, who could forget about the food? But as we wrap up, I want to explore the culture a bit more. What is it about this place that captures people's hearts and imaginations?
Well, it's the people, the music, the art, that vibrant spirit you find everywhere you go. What's so captivating about Baja's culture is that it's a blend of so many influences. You've got the indigenous heritage, the Spanish colonial legacy, and then more recent influences from the U.S. and other parts of Mexico. It's like this tapestry woven together over centuries.
It makes sense that a place with such a rich history would have a culture that's equally multi-layered and diverse. So let's dive into some specifics. What kind of music is popular in Baja? Is there a traditional sound that's unique to the region?
Well, one of our sources mentioned a style of music played by trios with an accordion and two guitars. They call these bands cuchi. And they play everything from corridos, which are these narrative folk ballads, to waltzes and polkas. It's a really lively sound, perfect for celebrations and gatherings.
Kochi bands, huh? It sounds so festive.
Yeah.
I can just imagine people dancing under the stars, the music echoing through the warm night air. Music just has that ability to transport you.
It's a universal language. It connects people across cultures and generations.
And speaking of connecting, what about traditional clothing? Are there any distinctive styles that are specific to Baja?
Oh, absolutely. For women, there's this traditional outfit that's really stunning. It's a bright red skirt with these beautiful hand-embroidered flowers.
Wow.
And it's paired with this vibrant, flowery blouse that just complements the skirt perfectly. You typically see this outfit at festivals and celebrations where women perform traditional dances.
Like what kind of dances?
Oh, there's Las Tipitahayas or Telefonejo.
Those names are so interesting. It makes me want to experience those dances firsthand. to feel the energy and the rhythm.
I know what you mean. Culture isn't just something you read about in books. It's a living, breathing thing. It's in the music, the dances, the way people interact with each other, and the stories they share.
And of course, we can't talk about culture without mentioning the food. We've already explored some of the culinary delights of Baja, but are there any food traditions or customs that are particularly special or symbolic?
One thing that really stands out is the emphasis on fresh, locally sourced ingredients. Whether it's seafood or produce, there's a real connection to the land and the sea.
Right.
It's about savoring the flavors of the region, appreciating the bounty that nature provides.
It seems like that connection to nature is a recurring theme in Baja. From the ancient cave paintings to the conservation efforts today, it's a thread that runs through the region's history and culture.
I think you're right. There's a deep respect for the environment, a recognition that we're all connected, and that's reflected in everything.
Well, I think it's safe to say that our deep dive into Baja California Sur has been a success. We've uncovered hidden layers of history, explored those stunning landscapes, and discovered a culture that's as vibrant as the region itself.
It's been a journey of discovery and appreciation for sure.
So to our listeners, if you're looking for a destination that offers more than just beaches and resorts, Baja California